Hi, Arlene here from Hidden in Eden. Today I'm going to do another 10 simple rules sector. 10 simple rules to deal with the mullet stage. Number one, now's the time to get a trim. Usually about 6 days. I'm at that sort of that heading hopefully towards the end of my mullet phase, but about 6 months you should hit that, and particularly if you've grown out from a really short haircut, a shaved head, and you might have done shaved for a cause, or just shaved your head because you want to, or like me, I got a really short pixie cut. I had longer layers on top, and I was number 4 with the clippers at the back. So it's probably taken a little bit longer for me to get to the mullet stage because I always had that area so much shorter than the rest. About 6 months to 8 months is the time to get a little trim. By then you've grown it long enough to get some decent progress, but just be firm with the hairdresser and saying light dusting of the ends, a centimetre, say less, they're probably always going to take off a little bit more. Try to go to a hairdresser you trust. And so I got a very small dusting off centimetre, hardly made a difference to me, didn't look hardly, and anybody made hardly a difference, but it just sat better, especially at the back here. It was getting quite heavy, it just seems to sort of flick out more, and I got it spliced into a little bit opposed to having it thinned out, just to take some of the lift out and give it a few more layers. Okay, 2, tie, pin, hide the mullety areas. So what I tend to do, what I have been doing most days, is just tie, so basically the reason it's a mullet is because when you had your hair short, it was usually cut up around the ear, so that's quite a lot shorter than everywhere else. And secondly, the volume around here is half the amount because you've got, obviously there's no hair growing where your ear is, so it's thinner and usually a bit shorter. So your layers, my shortest layer is there and my longest layer is here. So that's quite a difference for a short haircut. If you're getting your haircut short, you probably wouldn't want that much layering. Basically, the way I would love my hair is for that to all be cut off. So you can, if you want, if your hair is long enough and you're happy with it, you can kind of get that cut and graduate it in and keep the length around the face and just wait for the top layers to catch up before you start growing out the bottom layers. But for me, it's important that I can tie it up. I like to tie my hair up, and because my back was so much shorter, if I cut that, then I'm not going to be able to tie it up anymore. So what I choose to do is just tie it just in a simple little ponytail, a loose ponytail. Tie it like that, tighten it, and then what I do is just mess all this up so that I've got that kind of layer look still, and I just pull this loose a little bit and then tighten it again, and that just gives me a bit of layering. So it doesn't have to be in a ponytail either. I often pin, but I'll get to that later on. So see how that, for me, that's just, I don't feel like I've got a mullet anymore. I feel like I've got a nice short PC layered haircut, and it complements my face shape with my fringe and everything. And I mean, I don't really care too much what's going on at the back. So for me, that's kind of what I do most days, especially if I'm having a bad hair day. I find when my hair gets a little bit dirtier, it gets really heavy and it's hard to manage. I've freshly washed my hair today, so it actually looks quite good. Number 3, use your length to your advantage. Make it look like you've got more hair than you have. So basically what you want to do is just pin it really messy at the back. So I just sort of scoop and pin, just scoop. Not too tight, just loosely to create volume, and I think that's why it makes it look like you've got so much more, is because you're really working with creating volume with the layers. So you basically just get it all up, and then any bits that are sort of falling like this here, If you have trouble pinning it, it might not be quite as long as mine. I've been pinning mine for about a month now. You can use some dry shampoo or a textures dust, which I'll get into further as well, just to give it some grit to work with. Hairspray as well can also work quite well, and back combing. And I like to leave a little bit at the front, and there you go. Nobody would ever know I've really got short hair. I haven't seen the back, so I usually don't look at the back. I just trust my intuition. There you have it. That's the illusion of making you look like you've got more hair than you actually have. Number 4, try and keep your hair as weightless looking as possible. The heavier it is, the more mullety it looks. I had to wash my hair today because it just looked like an insane mullet. It was so heavy on top, and then because you've got the longer hair, it was, you know, flat on top and buffy here, and it just looked like a hardcore mullet. So it's a huge transformation in my hair from before I wash it to after. After I wash it, it's just, you know, the layers are accentuated, or when your roots get oily, it just weighs them down, weighs your whole hair down when it gets oily. And some people might want this. If you've got super thick frizzy hair, you probably want that. So for you, it would be best to wash it as little as possible. I still try to only wash my hair every 3 or 4 days, because washing it does dry it out. The more you wash it, it does dry it out a little bit. So I also use dry shampoo. I make my own out of arrowroot powder. You can use cornstarch, and basically what you do is just put it in like that. Talcum powder, if you're okay with talc. I'm not really a fan of using talcum powder, but they're all the same thing, same concept. You just push it through. If you've got dark hair, you'll need to leave about 10 minutes and then brush it out. Otherwise you'll get kind of a grey look. But for blonde hair, it's great. It's great to disguise regrowth as well. And that just takes some of the weight out, but you want to use it all through to make it look voluminous everywhere, not just the top layer like I've done now. And brushing it through is good. You can also use products like, this is one by Fudge, Matte Mineral Textures. Same kind of thing, but it's got clay in it, so it makes it feel a bit dirty and gritty, but it does give it all over kind of poof and volume, and definitely gives it. Number 5, you can also add clip extensions through this front area. So basically the deal with the mullet is, like I said before, at the front sides you've got less volume and it takes a little bit longer to catch up. So for me, the front sides are about that much shorter than the rest. So what I would do if I was going to use extensions, you can buy clip-in extensions. You can also buy tape ones. Apparently don't damage your hair. I wouldn't recommend the glue ones. They ruin your hair, apparently. So just stick to the clip-ins or the tape-in ones, and you just put like maybe 1 or 2, lift it, put it there or put it there, and then just cut it to the length you want, which would be the same length as the back, and that would just balance out your mullet. Number 6, feathers. So get feather extensions. I've ordered some from online. I haven't used them yet, but lots of cool colours. They can be put anywhere on the hair shaft. So here I'd probably put them about there, underneath somewhere, so that they create the same length as the back. And also what they can do is, especially if you're using a colour different to your hair, is they draw attention to that area and take the focus off the mullet or the back where it's long, where it feels long and heavy, so they can just blend it in by changing the view of the eye, attracting it to somewhere else, and a bit that's actually longer. So if you have one on each side. Number 7, what I have been doing, and I was doing a lot from about almost every day from about month 4 to about month 6, and then I stopped doing it as much because I could tie my hair up. But basically those shorter bits, those shorter finer bits, I was just pinning up. and because I've got all this weight here, it just made me feel more like I had a bob, and it looked a lot more like a bob. And then at the back it just added the volume and a little bit of something. So I basically wore my hair like this every single day for about 2 months, and that got me through that stage. You know, find whatever works for you, and I still wear it like this because I like it. Number 8, now even though you have a mullet, there is an advantage. You have length at the back now. You can now pin it to the side for a side do. So basically just kind of grab and pin, just coming on an angle around. At the moment it's just about giving yourself something different if you're going out or whatever, so that you don't feel like, oh, my hair's so boring, I can't do anything with my hair. So there you have it. You've got the nice messy side sweep. Voila. I probably should have back combed before I did that. You probably want to back comb before you do that, just to make, because it's short, and bringing it over just to give it that extra bit of grip with the pins and things. Number 9, be proud of yourself for getting this far. Most people don't make it here at all. Look, after 3 months, after the beginning of the mullet phase, they come into the hairdresser, cut it all off. You know, so feel really proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back for getting so far, for persevering this long. This is the hardest phase, and you're doing it, and just give it a few more months and you'll be past it, and you'll have long hair soon, just like me. Already I feel like I'm starting to feel a lot more feminine and can do a lot more with my hair, and I'm flicking it around and really enjoying it, and it's by all means my hair's not long yet. So yeah, just really appreciate your efforts and how far you've got. Number 10, just keep growing and keep it healthy with treatments. You probably won't need another trim for another 6 months. See how you go. If you're doing your treatments weekly or fortnightly, then it's going to stay in good condition. I've had one little trim in 8 months, and my hair is blonde, so it's still in pretty good condition. I just use a really gentle shampoo and do my treatments. Probably not as much as I should. I do them about once every 2 or 3 weeks, which is okay. And just look after your hair and look after yourself, and keep soldiering on. I hope you find this video as inspiring as my first for anybody that's watching this, because they're in the same situation as me growing your hair. Good luck!